Howdy folks, I got another rum talk for you today. I recently got hold of a fancy new bottle of rum from Grenada. I got a few other rums I want to sort of compare it to. Should be interesting. Let's go. So first up, we got Renegade. It is a fairly new distillery. They've built a brand new fancy distillery down in Grenada, and they're making single varietal cane juice rums, meaning they're using very specific varieties of cane juice for each expression that are all grown in particular parts of the island with different soil conditions, etc. And so each bottle is supposed to express, the particular terroir of that particular region and variety. Now, I heard about this place a couple of years ago, but I haven't been able to find any of the rum, but I was doing an Astor Wines order, so I decided to grab a bottle. Now, this bottle is called Nursery. It's made from a sugarcane called Yellow Lady. It is pot stilled and unaged and comes from a region called La Calome Valley. Now, I chose this one sort of randomly from Astor Wines. They had, I think, 3 or 4 different expressions available. I didn't know one from the other, so I sort of picked this randomly. I'm hoping that it's, representative of the style they're going to be making down there. It is 50% alcohol, and by the way, the bottle is pretty cool. It's like, I really like the design of the labels, and the bottle is this sort of weird shape. It's got a glass stopper. It seems very fancy. Let's give it a taste. First of all, as you might expect, these fresh-pressed sugarcane rums are kind of intense. They're not really for their first rum to get into sipping rum, but they're pretty intense. You get a lot of those sort of, fusel oils or burnt rubber kind of aromas at first. This one's got a very savory olive aroma to it as well, like green olives, like a sort of vegetal olive flavor. Pretty weird. Let's give it a taste. Yeah, it's savory. It's a bit salty. It's like an olive brine almost. It's got like a little bit of like a grassy kind of hay flavor. It's but not a lot. It's not super hot, but there is a sort of lingering sort of alcohol burn on the back of the tongue. I'm like sort of as it sits on my palate, a little bit more of that sort of olive sourness almost comes through. I'm like maybe even like a little hint of like a sour milk almost, like a fine cheese, I guess. I don't know. This is definitely one Auntie Susan would not enjoy, but I enjoy it. I think it's like I said, a little bit weird. Like, this isn't going to be your first rum that you enjoy, but it would, but it's definitely interesting. And we're going to do is going to compare it to some other fresh pressed cane juice rums from Grenada to start with, just to see what the differences are. So the next one we've got up is Rivers Antoine. I've done a video featuring Rivers Antoine before. I'll leave a link to that. It is also from Grenada, but in a way, it's sort of the opposite of Renegade, because it's in a super duper old facility that's actually powered still by a water wheel. They use wood from nearby the distillery to fire the stills. It's not fancy at all and not new. They only make 2 products. They make a 75% rum and a 69% rum. That's for the tourists. That's the only one you can export. So we're gonna try that and see how it compares. So immediately on the nose, this has got like a fruitier aroma. It's more of like mangoes or bananas. It is it's a savory still, but not nearly as intensely like olive flavored as the Renegade. 69% is a little hot, but it's got those. It's a little bit creamy. It's definitely got a different sort of texture to it. And yeah, just a lot more fruity, a little bit brighter, and, of course, a bigger alcohol burn. Now, Rivers Antoine isn't just pressed sugarcane. They press it and then they boil it down to a syrup, which is a technique that a lot of places do. But this next one is also made from a sugarcane syrup. It is a Clairin from Haiti, and it's called Sonson. I picked this one up recently because I had run out of my other Clairins, and it was a new one. It's the 5th one that Vellier's put out. Pretty exciting. It comes from a place called Cabaret. It was distilled in 2018. It's made with sugarcane syrup, as I said, and it is pot stilled. It's made by a fella named Pierre Gillet, and it is 53.2% alcohol. Let's give it a try. This one is back to that slightly more savory aroma, a little less of the olives, but it's got a certain aroma. It's hard to put your finger on, but it reminds me of like Elmer's glue. I don't know. It's like savory in a different direction. It's almost like meaty, like a. It's not smoky, but like almost like greasy smell almost. Like another kind of weird one. It's really hard to put your finger on what this tastes like. It's not as fruity as, say, the River's Antoine, but it's not as savory as the Renegade. It's a little bit milky, maybe. It's got like sort of an oily kind of feel to me. It's a little bit grassy. It's not very. There's not a lot of alcohol burn, and it doesn't have those sort of rubber, dark, burnt rubber kind of aromas. None of that. So I don't know. I'm not sure what to make of it. It almost reminds me of like an avocado. It's like sort of vegetal, but in this sort of soft, creamy way. That's pretty wild. Now, finally, I've got one more bottle. It's an agricole rum. It's from Clement, and it's called Canne Bleue. It is also made from a single variety of sugarcane. That's the Canne Bleue variety. But of course, it's an agricole. They have a whole other set of rules around how to make agricole that they follow for the AOC for agricole rum from Martinique. So let's give this a shot. I've had this before. I've had it for a while. It's not really my favorite usually. Let's give it a taste. Immediately more grassy and not as briny, not as olivey, not as savory. But it's got that certain, it's like grassy funk, not like a super fruity funk, but more like dried hay or grass or like vegetable matter. So this one, it's a little bit sweeter on the palate. It doesn't have a super long finish. Honestly, I should have maybe tried this one first because the sort of wild, big flavors of those first three, I think, are sort of overwhelming this one by comparison. I mean, it's not bad. It's pretty good. It would work well in a cocktail probably, but it just doesn't have those sort of overpowering flavors of the other ones. Definitely more of a sort of tame grassiness instead of the sort of outrageous olivey flavor. So, I don't know. I'm not going to complain about it. It's not bad. It's just that it's not as wild as these other ones. Okay, conclusions. Single varietal rums are very interesting. All of these sort of vary in taste, but I would say none of them really for beginners, like your beginner rum for sipping, but they would all probably make a pretty good tea punch. Probably could zazz up like a tiki drink or make an interesting addition to like a rum old fashioned, but definitely like more of an acquired taste. Anyway, I look forward to seeing if we can get hold of more of these Renegade rums. They seem very interesting. I'm also looking forward to them releasing some aged expressions because I feel like that would be pretty interesting to see how something like this would, mellow out a little bit in a barrel, which I assume they're doing. I don't know that for sure, but the bottle does say pre-cask on it, so that implies to me there's going to be some, post-cask bottles as well. All right, hopefully that was fun and or informative. Let me know what you think down in the comments. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.